piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do! You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to a brand new episode. Welcome to episode 236. Welcome to Scream 6, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew. Zach?
Hey, welcome back to the club.
It has been a minute, but you know, even some of the most loved possessions that you do, it's always very, very important that you take time and take a step back, or else it does not feel like a hobby. It doesn't feel like a passion anymore. And I was thoroughly enjoying time away from film and movies, but it just kept. I'm gonna use a famous line for movies, Zach. Can you tell me what it's from? No matter how far I keep stepping away, it just keeps bringing me back in.
Godfather, yep. Godfather Part 2, yep.
So
and I agree. I mean, I even took some time off. I think it was like August of last year. And it was just, like I totally agree with you. If you don't take some time away, it just feels like a job, and it doesn't. You don't want it to feel that way.
It doesn't want to feel like a job. You want to take a step and enjoy what you do. And I'm glad I haven't been to a theater since December. And you know what? It was a very positive response going to a new theater and checking out Scream 6, which I'm very hyped to talk about. I'm very glad this is my first episode. It's my first episode back here, and it's also going to be my first episode back Wednesday on Friday the 14th as we talk about Scream 6 on Wednesday as well. So I'm excited. I'm happy. But Zach, while it's just me and you, while we're waiting on Edward to join us, let's talk the Oscars.
Yeah.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once completely snagged 7 awards last night, rightfully
Dominated.
so, including 3 out of the main awards. It won Best Director, it won Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Actress, and Best Picture. So out of the 7 it won, 5 were the biggest awards of the night. And my favorite moment of the Oscars last night was when Key, right? That's how you pronounce his name?
Yep.
When he won when he went up there with Best Picture and he hugged Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, that was my favorite moment of the night.
They should have let Harrison Ford let him do the Best Supporting Actor. That would have been a huge reunion on stage. That would have been really cool.
But it was a fun show, and even though it was almost 4 hours long, I enjoyed the whole thing. Elvis got nada.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Elvis didn't get anything. The Fabelmans didn't get anything. Banshees of Inisherin didn't get anything. Tar didn't get anything. It really, by midway through the show, it was really between All Quiet on the Western Front versus Everything Everywhere. And it just, I was really shocked by that, to be honest. I think we're going to check
out the Fabelmans in a few weeks, so it's going to be fun for all of us to get our thoughts on that movie. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm surprised Elvis didn't get anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can go through some of the winners. I mean, you basically said the top 4. The 4 out of the 5 went to Everything Everywhere. Brendan Fraser won for The Whale, which I was very, very happy for. I would have been fine with Austin Butler if he won, but I think the comeback of Brendan Fraser, what he's had to go through, and just his performance, which I would like to talk about that movie one day. I think it hits Blu-ray tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be the first movie we talk about after the best of 2023. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it week 2 of April.
Awesome. So I'll say my thoughts on that. My only biggest disappointment is Top Gun only got 1 award, man. Is for Best Sound, and I don't know, man. To me, I think it was kind of like we're nominating you because you were one of the biggest movies of the year. But I think even Tom Cruise knew he was going to win, so he didn't show up. So.
Well, he never goes to any of those anymore. I was disappointed. Tom Top Gun did win the award that I thought it was going to win, which was Best Sound, and then Avatar won the award, which I thought it was going to win, which was Best Visual Effects.
Right.
I really thought Elvis was going to win for Best Costume.
Yeah, that's true.
But it didn't win for that as well.
Costume design. Oh, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever won that.
So we'll get into it a little bit more come award season for us, which is in just 2 weeks or 3 weeks. 3 weeks away. 3 weeks from today, we're talking our favorite movies of 2022. So it's going to be interesting to get everybody's thoughts on that. If you guys want to listen to last week's episode, they talked about Creed 3, which is now available to listen anywhere you listen to podcasts at. You can also find us on the social media websites, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram /the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Twitter is at Cinnamon405. And then you can email us at cinemen921@gmail.com. Which I'm holding all emails until the first week of April. I'm going to read a lot of emails come the first week of April for our top 5 plus 5 of 2022. But Zach, let's dig into it. It's time to talk the top 5. Today, I've been keeping up with some of the episodes that we've done in the past, but I believe this is our first top 5 in a few weeks. So what better way than to talk our top 5 Scream characters of the entire franchise? 1 through 6 is what we're talking about. The only honorable mention I have is, and this is probably going to upset some people, Randy from Scream 1 and 2, played by Jamie Kennedy. He is my only and official honorable mention. So yeah, Zach, do you have any?
No honorable mention. So I can go into number 5 if you want.
Go into number 5.
Number 5 is a character who we've only seen her twice. First time we thought she was dead. She comes back again for this one, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Is Kirby Reed, played by Hayden Panettiere. I really liked what they did with her character in the 4th one. They kind of obviously they left it open-ended. Obviously, we get the answer in this one.
We'll get to it.
So, yeah, number 5 is Kirby Reed.
Number 5 is a tie for me. I couldn't choose between these two killers, so I put them both at number 5. Charlie, played by Rory McCulkin, and Mickey from Scream 2, played by, oh boy.
Just a sec. But go ahead and just explain. I'll look them up.
Mickey from Scream 2, I thought was just a fun killer. I really would have enjoyed if it was just him.
Timothy Olyphant, yeah.
Timothy Olyphant, yeah. I think he was probably one of the better killers as far as acting wise that go. And then Charlie, to me, he was one of the ones right off the bat when I first seen Scream 4. I was like, okay, I can definitely tell he's one. But I just thought he was just entertaining. Whenever his reveal to me was not shocking, because like I said, I kind of knew he was the killer, but I liked how he revealed himself by killing his crush. Or attempted to kill his crush. But I thought those two were just phenomenal. So number 5 is 2, a tie, Mickey and Charlie from Scream 4 and Scream 2 respectively. Number 4, Zach.
Number 4 is kind of a tie, but I don't think you can talk about one without the other. So our 2 heroines of this film and the last film, Sam, played by Samantha Barrera, and Tara, played by Jenna Ortega. So we'll talk about them here in a little bit.
We will talk about that. And that's funny. My number 4 is Tara, played by Jenna Ortega. So number 3 for you, Zach.
Number 3, I think the original heroine of this entire franchise, Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell. We'll get into how this new film did without her, but I think she's always been the staple, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie in the Halloween series. She's always like that. She's the go-to or the attempted ultimate target. So
Zach, we didn't talk before this. We haven't talked face to face in a few weeks. My number
Mhm.
3 is Sidney Prescott. Number 2 for you.
I was scared. Number 2 is honestly a character that kind of, after 3 films, you kind of wish they just get it over with. But number 2, he's a lovable character, is Dewey, played by David Arquette. Obviously, if you've seen Scream 5, you know exactly what happens. But he's definitely a character who you want him to succeed, you want him to thrive, you want him to obviously, get with Gail by a certain point. But it's just the damn kill him. Is he dead? No, he comes back. Is he dead? No, he comes back. It's kind of like that continuous joke, which they kind of, we'll talk about it, but they kind of do it again in this one. But it's definitely part of the trio of Scream. So Dewey, that's number 2.
Number 2 for me is gonna be Stu Macher, played by Matthew Lillard. Um, he's funny. He's insane. By the end of the movie, he's completely psychotic. And we're gonna definitely talk Stu Macher in this episode. So number 2 for me is Stu, played by Matthew Lillard. Number 1 for you.
Number 1, it's not one particular person, but it's the whole concept of these films entirely. And you have Sidney Prescott as the heroine, Ghostface. You can't have a Scream movie without Ghostface. And I think whoever it is, whether it be Billy Loomis, was Laurie Metcalf. She was a Ghostface, wasn't she?
Yep.
Laurie Metcalf, Rory McCulker, Richie from last time. You just look forward to seeing that mask and just know that all hell's about to break loose when you see it. So Ghostface is number 1.
Man, I almost want to say that's a cop out, but I really enjoyed the
Explanation.
the explanation of that answer. That's so hands off to you. I applaud that answer. Number 1 for me, and I know a lot of people are going to be scratching their head, but they really could have used this character more to their advantage. Cotton Weary.
Yeah, that's true.
Cotton to me was the most single-handedly entertaining character because he was the man who did it in the first movie. If you had a Scream prequel, he would be a very huge character to that Scream prequel.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the character to me that kicks off this entire franchise because he's one of the first people who had an affair with Sydney's mom.
Yep.
And you have him for a very little bit in the first movie in the back of a cop car. He's a huge character in the second movie. And then they just kill him off in the third one. And I almost feel like Cotton could be somebody who is still in the franchise today. Because he's a very entertaining character by he wants to do anything for money. His somebody who's always pointing the finger at Cotton could have eventually turned him into a killer.
Yeah.
And then B, unlike Sidney Nev Campbell, who wants to do it for $25 million like Tom Cruise money, Cotton Weary, Liv Schreiber would have done it for a bag of potato chips and a hot dog.
Yep.
So he could have been a very big, important part of Scream 6, Scream 5, or Scream 7. But I personally think that Cotton is an underrated character. He's my favorite character in Scream 2, and I wish he was an underappreciated character. I think he could have been that male Sidney Prescott, and he could have went on to each movie. So
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's our top 5 this week. We will have another one next week. Our top 5 Scream characters. There we go. I think that was a fun little top 5.
Yeah.
So let's. I think you know what, man. Again, if you guys have not seen this movie, spoiler alert. We're about 16 minutes into this episode. We're gonna dig into Scream 6. Go check it out in theaters right now, because I think it's a pretty. I thought it was a pretty fun movie. So yeah. Zach, when did you see it? What screen did you see it on?
I just saw a regular showing up in the balcony at the Warren. I only paid like $1, so with my unlimited app. So I saw it Friday night. What about you?
Nice. I saw it Saturday about 12:30 at Harkins here in Oklahoma City in Bricktown, and then we probably had about
Nice.
probably 25 people in the crowd. But
Yeah.
let's get to it. Scream 6 currently has an IMDb rating of 7.4, 76 on Rotten Tomatoes, 62% on the Metascore, and the Google users like it at 89% with a $35 million budget. Scream 6 right now is a little over $68 million at the box office with a March 10th, 2023 release date. Scream 6 in the next installment, the survivors of Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh new chapter in New York City. Starring Courtney Cox, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Jasmine Savory Brown, Mason Gooding, Skeet Ulrich, Roger Jackson, Dermot Maroney,
Mhm.
Jack Champion, and Hayden Pantiera. Pantera.
Panettiere. Yeah.
There you go. Comes in tight for me.
I
But
want to
Zach,
see you try. I want to see you try to take on this director's name, Matt.
Matt Olfen.
There you go.
There we go. See what I
And
did there?
and Tyler Gillett.
But let's talk about it. What was your first reaction after the movie was over? What'd you think? First reaction?
First reaction. You're going to a sixth film in a horror franchise, and you're just like, what could they do next? How could they build on or try to do something different by this type of film? Walking out, I had fun with it. It was something that um, there was maybe one or two slow spots in the movie, but overall, I mean, I had fun with it, and I don't know. I think I like this one better than five, to be honest.
I do too. I really like it a lot more with five.
But I think, yeah, we'll get into it. So overall, I had fun with it. What about you?
I loved it. I thought it was still fresh. It was intriguing all the way up until the reveal,
The big reveal, yeah,
the big reveal. That's probably the only negativity I have to say about the movie. But other than that, the reveal at least made sense. It wasn't I want to become famous, I want a huge trial. I'm blaming it on the
hmm
movies. So therefore I'm 50-50 on the reveal. I
yeah,
appreciated the motive. It was just good old fashioned revenge. Um
yeah.
but I didn't like who the reveal was.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But I gotta say, the opening kill scene with the dating app,
hmm
and as soon as you get the first kill, the student, the mask gets removed. What did you think when the killer killed somebody and took off the mask right when the movie started?
Yeah, that was a big okay, this is something different. We're gonna just go ahead and reveal the killer now. I
Which is
and
which is the
truthfully,
he's the kid from Spider-Man: Homecoming, right?
Spider-Man,
Yeah,
yeah, Flash, yeah.
yeah.
I I I thought, okay, this is kind of cool. We're gonna go ahead and reveal the villain, and it's just the rest of the movie. The main character's trying to figure out who it is. But no, they do, a classic Scream twist and say, no, 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 that's not him. That we're not gonna make it that easy. Is Greg? Is he watching Jason Takes Manhattan when he goes back home?
He
I know
is.
he's watching a Jason. I don't know if I know it's a Jason movie, but I thought, okay, so this one's going to be set in New York. Let's take a minute to acknowledge Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, which what that I thought was pretty funny. And boy, when they told you that Scream 6 is the goriest one of them all, they're not lying.
Yes.
They're not lying.
Yeah.
What'd you think
And
of opening up the fridge and seeing his roommate in the fridge?
all hacked up. Yeah. I will say, but I think that's kind of a trend of these Scream movies. They try to push the boundaries of the violence with each one. But yeah, you're totally right. This one is probably the most gruesome, probably the most goriest. And I have to say, like the sound design for the kills, like when they're being stabbed, it's noticeable. Like I'm just like, damn, they went all out for this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the two opening kills with the Laura, who's the Samara Weaving, who's the college professor on film, and then Jason and Craig. And we kind of just jump right back into our Fab Four, as they're called: Sam, Tara, Chad, and Mindy.
Because you have the party where Tara gets cock blocked not once but twice.
Yeah.
What did you think of them trying to paint Sam as the real killer from the fifth one? Richie was innocent. She really did it.
Yeah, I really like that. Honestly, I think it's what I like about this one on the character development. They really they built Sam as a very much damaged, dealing with PTSD, dealing with who her father was, and taking the obviously, like you said, everyone's blaming her for the murders instead of Richie. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, Tara, she's really kind of just denying everything that's going on and just wanting to live her life. So I really like the opposite spectrum of these two characters. As at the beginning of the film and by the end of it, they kind of have like a unification and bond to deal with what's going on.
I'm not jumping too much ahead, but again, if you guys have not seen this, pause it, stop it. We're at 23 minutes, and go check the movie out. I feel like there were not enough casualties in this movie. I feel like more main people needed to go in order to either A, set the franchise up for a bigger, more star-studded cast sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Just because out of the Fab Four, they all survive.
Right.
Courtney Cox even survives. They leave it open that Sydney may come back, and I just feel like if you make a seventh one and they all come back, including Sydney, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, and they played it off so well. Where Mindy, they played it off like if she was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
They also played it off like if her brother was gonna die, and he got cut the fuck up.
Yeah, he did.
They even tried
to play the repeat game with Kirby, and I'm just like.
Now, hold on a second. What did you think towards the end, where they pointed the finger at Kirby was the killer because Detective Bailey was like, "Hey, Atlanta called. She's off her meds. She's off her rocker." At that point, they kind of played it like she was the killer.
And I would have really liked that, to be honest. Like, I like Hayden Panettiere as an actress, so I don't really want her to be killed off. But that would have been a really cool twist. This whole time, you think she's working for the FBI, she's on Sam and Tara's team. It's just like, oh no, she's like, her mindset is so damaged that she's the one that's she got so obsessed with the cases that she's the killer. I was just like, that would have been really cool instead of. And I agree with you. If you want to go ahead and get into it, we can. I just think. Hey, what's up, Ed?
Hey,
joined by Ed right quick.
Sorry, I'm late.
No, you're good. Zach, go ahead and continue.
Well, I was gonna talk about the main twist of the film, Ed. But before we get to that, share us your just general thoughts on the movie, and we're almost into spoilers.
Very hard into tropes for that matter. Definitely doubling down on, well, not doubling down, I won't say. Definitely using Jenna Ortega's popularity at the moment.
Yeah.
Having at least Courtney Cox, Gale Weathers' legacy character, very smart. There's a lot to say, honestly, and I'm sure there's a lot you both have already said. But like I said, tropes, Gale Weathers, Jenna Ortega's popularity, using definitely,
You called that last week saying, because Jenna Ortega got so popular, we're just going to ride the tailcoats off of her right now.
And I mean, it's understandable. I don't think the filming was going on during, Wednesday because it wasn't that long ago, to be fully fair. And I think the filming probably was at least 8 to 10 months ago, at least.
Well, and you got to remember when Scream 5 came out, Wednesday was not even a thing yet. So she was still.
No,
we didn't even know who Jenna Ortega was at that point.
I was about to say maybe she hadn't even been cast as Wednesday at that point.
Now hold on, yeah. Like I agree that they. I agree that they should ride the coattails.
No, yeah.
I was just talking to Zach about this before you came on. I feel like there were not enough casualties. I feel like one of the twins needed to die. I feel like Gail needed to go. I feel like I honestly feel like Sam could have went. I feel like this thing should have stayed full with Chad and
Gail.
Tara going.
Oh.
I feel like they should have been the only two survivors. Maybe one more, maybe Mindy. But I feel like Sam's character to me is a little overblown,
overcooked.
Well,
I just don't like the Billy Loomis dad seeing my dad reference, because to me that makes me think she could be a killer in the next one.
And that's one thing that I kept thinking as well. Sorry, is that?
No, I totally agree. It was cool in the last film just because we didn't know what that twist was. But if we're gonna do this, if there is gonna be a 7, which I have in my notes, like Scream 7 ? If we're gonna keep doing this, just go all out. Have Sam be the killer. Her mind is finally broken or something.
Well, the directors have already came out and said that anybody could come back, including Jill Roberts. That there's talk about her coming back, and then there's also talk. This is the most money that the Scream franchise has ever made opening weekend. So this movie has already beat all of them out of the water. So I think we're about probably 6 weeks away from a 7th getting greenlit for sure. So I know it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, this movie already made its budget back. I think it was made for 30, and it made like 65 million this weekend. So it's good.
It already knocked Creed out of the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to have Stu come back, or
let's talk about that, because this entire movie, and this is where I have my biggest pet peeve with this fucking movie, is from the opening scene all the way up until the reveal. They just tease you like it's Stu.
Yeah.
His mask is the only one that's missing, which I thought was a brilliant plan. I loved how the killer was leaving each original killer's mask throughout the whole movie.
What do you mean his mask was missing?
His mask was
in the shrine where it had all the costumes.
His mask was the only one that was missing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they had Billy's, not Stu's.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. Billy's more focused on, so Stu would be perfect.
Exactly.
If they came out with 7, Stu would be the perfect kind of either descendant of Stu or Stu himself, one of the two.
And then even
because everybody
what's her name from Scream 4? I'm on a blank.
Hayden Panettiere, Kirby.
Yeah, even Kirby said when they said, "Well, Stu's dead, Billy's dead," and then Kirby was like, "Well, if you believe that." So throughout the whole movie, they were teasing that Stu had something to do with it.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be a big thing about it's always Billy. It's always Billy. Nobody talks about me anymore. Nobody talk, that whole anger thing about jealousy.
And even over the phone, when Sam was talking to the killer the entire time in the movie, he was like, I'm going to show everybody for what you really are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get you for what you did to me. And in my mind, when I'm watching that, I'm like, it's got to have something to do with Stu and Billy. Stu wants some kind of revenge on Billy. That's got to be what this is about. So the entire movie, to me at least, they tease you that it could have something to do with Stu.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, the flashbacks with that was, I know.
Which, again, that's not a bad thing, because that's just my mind. I'm not going to shame the movie for me wanting something and then they throw something else in there.
I mean, I kind of like that they keep with the trope of the friend group being in it, or being the villain part. I like that they keep with some continuity of it's not necessarily towards the legacies, but it's something to do with them, I guess. It's just kind of old that they keep going after, and like Gail said, it's kind of old. Like, why do you keep dealing with me if I'm not even like worth much? Well, just call it nostalgia. Like, really? Come on now.
So
And
I get your complaint. So your little complaint that if the killer is so focused on just killing
The new
Tara and
gen.
Sam and making their own movie, then technically Gail's a throwaway character. And that's exactly why I think and I feel I wish she would have died in this movie. She doesn't need to be in any of the other movies. She didn't even need to be in this one.
They did the Dewey thing with her where I remember she got attacked in Scream 4 and she survived, and now she got attacked in this one and she survived again. I'm just like, out of all the characters, she is the one I'm just like, just please get rid of her, please. She's not interesting at all, and she's just it's the same character every single time. She has no development.
She got so much lipo, she didn't even look like Gale Weathers.
Well, I mean, the biggest complaint I'd have is Chad, and I like the character.
His attack.
Well, no.
Like he should be dead.
Right. That's the big complaint I have is that I like the character. The character's fine with me. But you decided to have him stabbed by 2 different people like at least 16 times. You're telling me.
What'd you guys think of the ending when you did get, when you finally were the reveal happened, and then you're like, Richie's phone has been calling Sam the entire time.
Okay, so I had it a bit messed up because I'm like, that's strange as hell. But okay, maybe someone else has his number. They turned the phone off, whatever. Had to deal with that in a while back. But I thought it had to do with Ethan and Quinn. But I thought it was because they were lovers. I thought they were together. And then when she supposedly died, I was like, oh, dude killed her because he's tired of her banging like 15 dudes in a week. I'm just like, because I was just like, I thought they were lovers. So I'm just like,
getting some brother and sister action going on.
I have to say, I would have liked the reveal twice as much if it was just revealed that Detective Bailey did it and he was by himself.
And he like the whole Richie father. Okay, cool, but
I told Zach, I thought that was good because it's just old-fashioned revenge. There was no motive about, I got to make a new sequel. I'm doing it for the movies or I'm doing it for a trial. Detective Bailey's thought was, I'm just doing it for my son.
Because even he said these movies are a little too dark. I didn't understand his obsession.
Even at the beginning, Ghostface was like, "Fuck the movies."
Yeah, literally. And that was a good angle to start with, for that matter. It really was.
What'd you guys think of the ladder scene?
Nerve.
Oh, that one was the
Nerve.
I think that was probably the most brutal death when Annika falls to her death and she hits the trash can.
Yeah, it was
the dumpster so hard.
And this Ghostface to me was so much more angry. He was so much more physical. He was brutal. So much more brutal, and I thought that was it was awesome.
I thought it was going to be ruined, but the convenience store seeing Tara just kind of like crawling on the ground. I thought that the trailer was going to ruin that scene. It was just as tense, maybe even intenser. The whole sequence.
I've got to say, and I know I'm kind of skipping ahead, but one of my favorite scenes was the beginning scene, for that matter, was the prelogue. Just because, you get the one girl waiting, at the bar and all that. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, she's going to be killed off. You already know how this trope is.
Yeah.
But she's waiting on a guy.
Which I thought was funny.
Waiting on a guy. And you literally, like he said, you're stupid. Literally, you teach about slasher films. Yet you are doing the exact same thing all those idiots in the slasher films do.
Yeah.
Walking down the dark alley by yourself at night, waiting on some guy that you really don't know that you're going on a date with. Really?
Well,
And
we
sorry.
talked about it. When we
Yeah.
talked about it before we got on, I wanted to get your opinion about that. What did you think about, which I thought would have been a really good setup as, Jason kills the college professor and then he opens the mask and reveals himself. I was like, oh, that's never been done in a Scream movie. What'd you think about that?
That I liked. I thought that was really good, and then for it to be a whole different person, I thought was even better. I thought it was fresh and kind of original on both parts right there, because literally, he's like, okay, and answering the questions correct on the phone, like, how long have we known each other? 8 years and blah, 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 blah. And well, what are we doing? Well, we're doing this because we want to get back at Tara and Sam. And it's just like, okay, trusting and all that. And then I'm telling you, I'm here. And it's like, dude, I know you're not here. And he's like, do you want to play cold and warm? And it's just like the double entendre on that, because the dude's body is in a freaking fridge.
Yeah.
So literally you're warmer with getting colder. And it's just like, oh my God. And then he kills him and is like, yeah, the movies, I'm good. That I thought was just brilliant. But
one of the other deaths I thought was kind of graphic, was pretty intense, was the psychiatrist, Dr. Stone. He gets like bashed in the face and then gets stabbed in the eye or something like that.
That was a little intense. But I mean, hey, I guess you got to do what you got to do. But there, right there, it was kind of just like, okay, that's a little weird that taking the psychiatrist's notes, that's kind of weird right there. You have almost no reason to, but then once you see the shrine of the theater, it makes a lot more sense.
What'd you guys think of that theater and that shrine?
I thought the theater was really cool. The shrine is a little much, but
well, no, I like how, all this is basically essentially talking about horror films and the tropes of them, like you said, Ed. And to have the shrine in a movie theater is kind of genius if you think about it. And you go, the camera starts panning around. It's like, oh, there's all the artifacts. There's the backpack. There's all the different knives that's been used, the sketchbooks and everything. I thought it was a cool homage to the history of the Scream franchise.
And then it made sense a lot more with, well, at least Bailey and Kirby
when the detective was revealed, because they even say it in the movie. They even say the line, well,
it's like, how did you get all this evidence?
Well, they say the line that you must, cops need monies nowadays.
And it's just like, okay, which one is it? Are they bringing in the fresh face, that's the cop, or are they bringing in the old school, detective, now FBI agent?
Well, and that's the thing to me. We talked a little bit before you got on here about them setting up Kirby as being the killer. Mm-hmm. That would make a lot more sense since she's FBI and she would have access to all this stuff.
And but
she's a cop too, so.
Not only that, but then supposedly she got fired a couple months ago.
Which
so
at that point, it was right before the actual reveal of the.
Hey, what's up, man? Joined by Franco. Man, you are.
And, I've been wanting to talk about it for so long. So
I saw the share that you did, man, and I noticed that we talked a few months ago, and this is like your favorite franchise of all time. Quick thoughts before we keep getting in the conversation, man. What did you think about the movie when it was over?
The kills in it have stepped up since Wes Craven passed away. I thought it was an amazing film. It was probably, I think I want to say Scream is my favorite because of nostalgia, but this is probably number two.
Number two?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it was amazing.
were you a little disappointed with this that they didn't go from a Stu angle or even the Kirby angle for that matter?
Kirby, I was hoping they wouldn't go for the Kirby angle, but Stu, I was really hoping for a Stu because he kept saying that he wasn't going to be in it, and now we know he was telling the truth. I just was hoping he was lying.
But I mean, I talked about it in the beginning of this episode. They tease you throughout the entire movie that it's Stu, or that it had something to do with Stu or Stu's past. But I feel like again, I'm like, man, that's just me wrapping my mind and hoping that he's in the movie.
See, I thought it was Stu and the guy that turned out to be the kid. I forgot his name. Ethan, yeah. I thought it was them two. No, sorry, not Ethan. Chad. I thought it was Chad and Stu. Because since Chad's the nephew of
Randy.
I forgot his name. Randy.
Yeah. I just think eventually Matthew Lillard, he's such a fan favorite of this franchise that he's going to have to come back eventually, whether it be a cameo appearance or whatever. But I mean, I think I think if you're going to hold that character, you got to do something special with him. Like you said, Johnny, if this had been the big reveal, like you said, they set everything up to be Stu, all the clues lead to him, that would have been fine. I would have been happy with that. But I think if Matthew Lillard does come back, I think he wants it to be like a really cool, inventive way of doing that.
The one thing I am kind of like, why are you going from this angle? Is they're almost treating Sam kind of like Cotton Weary for that matter. And
what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, Cotton Weary was dubbed as the killer,
right.
when it wasn't him at all, and same kind of deal with Sam. They keep blaming. Oh, bitch, you're the killer, blah, 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 and
well,
it's just
I just talked about this in the top 5 because my number one Scream character was Cotton Weary. And I see where you're going with Sam, but like I said in the top 5, I really do think that Cotton Weary was an unutilized character and an underrated character, because you could take Cotton Weary and make a Scream prequel, because Cotton really is the center focus around this whole thing, because he's one of the first people who had the affair with Sydney's mother, who caused, Billy Loomis's dad and mom to split up. So it all circles back around Cotton Weary somehow. I feel like Sam should have been killed off in this movie. The only reason I feel like you keep her around is you're going to tease that eventually she is going to become the killer.
Yeah.
They should make her, not her, I want them to make Tara the full-blown killer in part 7.
Tara?
Yeah, just because Jenna Ortega did really good in this one. And, you can kind of, see her, seeing Sam as a killer and, her just, turning into the killer just to, I can't even think of the word. Out of spite for Sam, I guess.
One thing they could do is she goes through all the therapy and all that crap for both episodes, and now she's just like, I found it out. You're my problem. You're the one I have all of this to deal with. And she's like, okay, it is what it is. I can't fight you.
Well, and I talked about that. I thought that the contrast between the two characters was really well written, where Sam is dealing with the PTSD and the guilt, I guess, of being Billy Loomis's daughter and just dealing with what came before. And then Tara, Jenna Ortega's character, is very much just burying it to the point of I'm fine, nothing's happened.
Franco, I like your theory on Tara could be the killer in the next one. I think they could go one of two ways and have either one of the sisters be the killer with Sam or Tara. I think this movie franchise has made so much money, including this last one made over $65 million. And I think Jenna Ortega is so popular right now. Yeah. If they made her the killer, I would almost say that she would be the first Ghostface to not die and come back in another movie.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because every single Ghostface is always, one and done. But I think if they made her Ghostface, she would she would have to survive and come back and continue to be the killer in the next movie.
Agreed.
Or they could just make them both killers, since it's always usually 2 besides part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Because-
I wouldn't even mind seeing whoever is the killer in one of those two. I wouldn't mind seeing just the killer not die and come back. That's something you've never seen in this franchise. Is I Know What You Did Last Summer, Halloween. They always can't die and they come back for another movie. I would like to see Scream try to do that just at least once.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, you would just need them to go ahead and be down, and then police come and they vanish. They're gone.
But,
no
I mean,
body, no mask, no nothing.
That does take the lore away from the Scream franchise because it is pretty much a whodunit kind of movie every time. So
yeah. But I mean, if they make Scream 7 and they make him or her, I'm sorry, if they make Tara the killer, Scream 8 makes Stu come back and make him the killer, and he finally is dead, and Matthew Lillard doesn't have to mess with it.
We're going to find a way to get Stu back into these movies.
Yeah, Edward keeps going up and up. I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think now that this is a full-blown franchise, when is too much too much?
With slashers, man, it's kind of, don't get me wrong, how many Jasons are there? How many Friday the 13th?
I don't think you can do the comparison, though, because out of all those Friday the 13th, most of them suck ass.
I mean, that's true. That is very true.
And at least so far with these 6 films, all 6 of these Scream movies are at least watchable. I just got done binging them again, and even though 3 is the weakest, 3 was still entertaining.
Yeah.
Franco, you kind of had that Michael Myers tilt there. What do you think? Which one's most watchable for you? Do you not like 3 at all?
I don't like 3 at all.
At all?
No. I tried watching them, I think, not last year, 2020 when we had the pandemic, and I don't like 3.
No.
3's my least favorite.
It is. No. It's my least favorite too. But I when I watched it this past week, I was like, you know what? I kind of dug the single killer thing. I didn't like that it was her brother, her long lost brother. But when you sat and thought about it, I'm like, at least it was. See, he
had ambition.
He had exactly. He had a reason. My least favorite, probably I don't know. My least favorite reveal would probably be Scream 5. Richie makes sense, but the girl didn't make sense to me. And then when I found out that the girl killed Dewey, I was like, "You telling me an 80-pound high school girl killed Dewey?" And I was like, "Come on!" But it's all fun.
Money talks, man. Like I said, this already made its budget back, and I totally agree. Probably 3 weeks from now, they'll be saying Scream 7's greenlit and start production later this year. So
I want them to go all the way with 10 movies and then cross over with the Fast and Furious franchise as well.
I mean, they've already done it with the family thing.
Hold on. I know. I was going to say, in this movie, they did say family. And they put their hands out. Family.
They should have had Vin Diesel be Ghostface.
It's
right. And then it crosses over with Jurassic World. He's riding a raptor or something.
All you get is the old school Charger just coming up. Knife comes out the window.
This is the first.
Terrible.
This is the first.
Much different.
This is the first movie where they mess with the actual ghost face, and you see the worn, torn mask. What did you guys think? Did you guys think that there needs to be more of an update? Do you guys think they need to go away from the solid white one, or do you think it just worked for this movie?
I think it worked very well because I think showing that this is essentially 28, 29 years old, somewhere in that area. Or no, 27 years old. That thing's got some age. It doesn't last forever. It can't.
Well, and I like how the first the original Billy Loomis mask is just all it's starting to fade. It's starting to not
yellow,
mildew, but just yellow, just straight, starting to peel off. It was a really cool. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what this mask would look like.
Did any of y'all get that 96 kept coming up every now and then? No.
96.
Well, okay, so Gale lived on 96 Northwest 96th or something, as well as in the subway when what is it? When Mindy is looking towards Ethan or whatever, or when it pans towards her and the train goes, 96 is on the wall in the back. So there
That
were
when the first
several
Scream
different.
came out was 96.
Yeah, there was several different 96s in there, kind of doing the Pixar thing in a way.
yeah.
Since you guys, Finding Nemo is going to be in the background.
I swear.
Since you guys are like the big fans of this, part 2, Laurie Metcalf, that was Billy's mother, right?
Yeah.
So they just kind of flip it in this one, and it's Richie's dad. So it's kind of doing that, but kind of
right
in a different light.
Right, because remember at some point Kirby was they were talking about how, you know, this one is the sequel of the requel, or that's what Mindy was talking about, you know, because it was taking place in a college town, just like part 2. Randy died in broad daylight, just like other people were dying in broad daylight. So
then part 7 is going to be the half brother of Tara.
There you go.
There you go.
Come to find out,
if you call that, and a year from now we're talking about Scream 7, I'm gonna
be so mad, honestly.
Or it's Mindy
it's
and her
Stu's
brother.
half brother.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way
Drew.
they're going to Stu back in. Drew.
It's still played by Matthew Lillard.
That would be good. That would be good.
He's dressed up just
it's
like Shaggy.
Twin. It's his twin, so both. It's his twin, so Mindy and Chad have to die. You know,
they bring Scooby in to take off the scream mask of the killer.
I swear to God. Zoinks, like Scoob.
Did you
crossover Fast and Furious, Jurassic World, and Scooby Doo?
Hey, $1 trillion.
What did you think, Franco? We kind of discussed some other stuff, and I know me and you will talk more about it on Wednesday. But just for now, what did you think of the opening kill, where the killer took off his mask?
Honestly, you're gonna think I'm lying, but last week I was thinking about the opening scene. I was like, they should really do where they have the killer be revealed in the beginning, take off his mask, and then the whole movie plays out where you're like, he's the killer. Stop fucking believing him. It's him. It's him. It's him.
Yeah.
And whenever I was watching, I was like, are they actually doing this? Oh my God. And then whenever the whole scene plays out, I was like, okay, thank God, because I really didn't want that to happen. But it was a great twist. And Samara Weaving, the blonde that dies, I think was really good in it. And,
yeah, she was.
Yeah.
It was just a really good twist. I enjoyed it. Especially with it started off with that dismemberment of the body. Like that. All the scenes in this movie were amazing. That one, like, just to kick it off was top tier.
And I mean, getting to see Flash from Spider-Man die, like, hey.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where he's from. Now that you pointed out, I know where he's from.
I was just like, you look like a bit of a douche. Just, God.
Like I said at the beginning, I enjoyed the movie. And I didn't have a problem with Detective Bailey being the main guy. I just didn't feel like he needed to bring his 2 kids into it.
Hey, bad father.
So I love the reveal. I love the story. I love the ending. I love that it was Detective Bailey if it wasn't Stu, but I didn't like the 2 kids being brought back. Like I told Zach, I'm glad it was good old-fashioned revenge, like Scream 2. I just didn't like him revealing the 2 kids. What did you guys think of that ending and the reveal? Franco, did you like who it was?
I really wanted Stu, but it was all right. The reveal, they thought it was gonna be Kirby, and I was like, oh man, no, please don't let it be Kirby. Like, I don't want it to be Kirby. I love Kirby, and for it to be him, I thought it was all right. Then the kid find out that it's both the kids, and Quinn came back. I thought it was all right. It's not my favorite reveal scene, but it will do.
Ed?
I kind of, like I said, was
Ed
thinking,
called it. He's always like, I called it. I knew it was going to be them too.
No, I did think there was something between them, but no. I thought it was more they were lovers and he was the virgin that she had never banged.
Oh my God.
So I did, dude.
Zach, what about you?
But-
Did you like the reveal? We kind of talked about it already, but
Yeah, I'm with Franco. I mean, it was. If you're gonna do anything like that, I mean, it makes sense for it to be Richie's family getting their revenge. Honestly, I mean, I like the aspect of like I said, Kirby. She just got so obsessed with the Ghostface killings that she becomes a killer herself. I would be okay with that, but what we got, I mean, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. I was just like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'm not gonna question it.
So now that the movie's over, you ended up having Gale Weathers, Sam, Tara, Mindy, Chad, and let's not forget the new boyfriend, Danny. Those are all the survivors that you see at the end. I mean, there's more survivors at the end of Scream 6 than Titanic. Are you guys happy that there was that? Are you guys happy that there are that many survivors at the end of a Scream film? Usually you're just ending up with 2, maybe 3 or 4, but 6 all to go into maybe a new franchise or a new movie.
There you go.
We're in Scream 6.
Scream 6 survivors.
There you go. So again, and I thought it would have made for a better ending if Sam put the mask in her bag and kept the mask.
Yeah, because I was just like, why?
I was not a fan of her just dropping it, even though the cinematography wide shot made for a good ending. Yeah. But if you're going on to a 7th movie, and if you want to keep people on the edge of their seats, I would have liked if she held on to the mask.
Well, and really what I thought was going to happen, like you said, there's the pan and it just shows the mask as they're driving away. I really thought like a hand was going to come out and just grab the mask, and that was going to be the last shot of the movie.
That would have been cool too.
It could have been Stu's hand. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have been cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I totally agree with you, Johnny. I just think when I start thinking about this, there should have been a lot more death. I agree. Out of the Fab Four, I think Chad and Mindy should have died.
Who? The core 4.
Well, exactly. But if you're going to keep this franchise going, you need to kill off more of these characters. That way it just sets up for more characters to come in.
I'm almost betting, though, that they signed up for a multi-film deal. So they're going to be it's probably cheaper on the studio to sign people up for multi-film deals instead of bringing in somebody new every single movie. So I look for the extra 3 or 4 new cast members to be in Scream 7. They're probably not going to be no-name actors, and they're probably going to, it's a smarter way to keep the budget down.
Yeah, if they're willing to pay Jenna Ortega as much as a movie star she is now.
I thought for sure she was going to die. I was like, they can't afford to keep her, and then they kept her. I was like, okay, cool.
All right.
Scream 7.
So she likes. In interviews, she likes horror movies, so it wouldn't surprise me if she sticks around for, like you said, a couple more of these.
So that being said, final question: with this movie making as much money without Neve Campbell, does she come back for the 7th one?
Keep her out. She has her happy ending.
Yeah, I don't think you need her.
Agreed, because I mean, this one shows that you don't need her.
Yep.
And it did a perfectly good explanation. Gail says, "Oh, Sydney took her family and she's in hiding." That's all you need to know.
Give her the happy ending that she deserves.
It's not that we don't need her. It's just that on my end, it's not that we don't need her. It's just that they already gave her a good ending. Like that's all you need. Nothing else.
I think once you say no, even though the franchise was originally built around you, if you say no, we already know where your heart desires. You desire that money, and not the franchise. Yeah, not the storytelling. Yeah. So, favorite kill. Does anybody have a favorite kill in this movie? Zach, we'll start with you.
Favorite kill would have to be Annika's where she's trying to go across the ladder. She falls and smashes straight down into the dumpster. That to me was probably the most brutal kill of the movie.
It wasn't a kill. No, it was a kill. Ed, I'll start with you. I'm still thinking.
I will go the before title card kill, I guess. Flash.
Professor.
Yeah. No. Jason. Yes.
Yeah.
Jason, like the Scream mask, unmasking himself and all that, stuffing it in the bag and walking like nothing happened, going to his apartment,
So
all
the
that.
professor's kill?
No. Jason. Jason get killed.
In the
Gotcha.
apartment.
Yeah.
I would probably have to go with. I'll go with. I'm gonna just go with Laura's kill, even though it was a different ghost face that got her off. I'm gonna go with Laura, for the opening kill, just because the mask came off. You're like, whoa. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Franco?
It's not a kill, but the dismemberment was pretty cool. But favorite kill that we saw was probably the professor. Or not the professor, the therapist.
The therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Franco, I wanted to get your opinion before we do favorite scene. I was talking earlier in the review. I noticed like the sound design in this movie, just like the actual like the knife going into the body, just like the like it was more prevalent in this one than all the other ones. I just thought it was like much more a graphic depiction of someone being stabbed, basically.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like I said, ever since Wes Craven, I think did part 4, part 5, and part 6. Part 5 was had higher kill scenes.
Higher budget.
Yeah, and then part 6, like they went not overboard. They went perfect with the kill scenes and with the sound, with everything. They made it more slasher. I think Wes Craven focused more on the meta part of it over the slashing, and now they finally have a perfect combination of meta and slashing.
Yeah.
Favorite scene, Zach. We'll start with you.
My favorite scene, like I said, I thought the trailer was going to ruin it, but the convenience store scene, Ghostface goes in there, wreaks havoc, and I thought the trailer was going to ruin it. It was just as intense, maybe even more intense, seeing the whole entire sequence. Just them crawling on the ground, trying to avoid the glass, and Ghostface. Is this the first time Ghostface has ever used a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
him just shooting. I feel
Really?
like there was one other time.
Part 1?
I thought 2.
Don't they shoot they stab?
They use guns multiple times.
Not an actual shotgun though.
Zach, I thought you were talking about shotgun. It's the first time they use a shotgun.
Okay, I was just like,
I thought it was the first time a Ghostface has ever used a gun, but I mean,
technically, Billy, Stu, they all use guns without the mask.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But with the mask.
But the first time they ever used a shotgun, him just shooting the place up, and like I said, them just trying to be quiet, I thought was a really compelling scene.
My favorite scene, just because, I was the opposite, Zach. I thought the trailer would have ruined it, and then I thought it was too New Yorkish, But the whole sequence of the train. I heard some people around me and behind me saying that New York trains aren't that spooky. The lights don't go out like that. They're not that jam packed. No, the fuck they aren't. I was in New York City for like 8 days a few years ago, and I guarantee you that's exactly how it looks and feels. So I thought maybe it was going to be a little too much, but the whole train underground scene where Mindy gets stabbed and cut the fuck up, I thought Mindy should have died right then and there. It was a really intense scene with all the ghost face. I don't know, you guys probably saw the Michael Myers mask too.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a fun scene. And the moment they went underground into the train sequence, I knew some shit was going to go down. So,
oh yeah,
that was my favorite scene for sure. Ed, what about you?
I would have to say the first time we see the theater, like go into it and see like the whole memorabilia set up. I thought that was really, really cool. The details of him drawing, or the drawings of all the victims, the drawings of like Billy and all that, the costumes laid out in front of everything. The TV that Stu died with, and just all that random different memorabilia, I thought was really cool. Even the stab 6 and all that, cutter and all that good stuff. Those were all cool.
Franco, what about you? What was your favorite scene?
Mine was the subway scene, but to be different, probably the opening sequence when he takes off the mask and is getting hunted by Ghostface.
Yeah.
Speaking of the train scene, I thought it was a creative idea to have all the Halloween people like different horror characters. I thought that was cool.
The Babadook was one of them as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a good callback for part 5, Jenna Ortega's favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All right, guys. This is technically Zach and Edward. This is your second 2023 movie that you guys got to talk about back-to-back weeks. No, third. You guys went and talked to Ant-Man as well, right? Yeah, I'm still
No,
behind.
no, just me and Craig did that
Just
one.
you and Craig. I see. I haven't seen Ant-Man. I haven't seen Creed 3, but I'm going back out next weekend. I'm getting back in the hunt. So 2023 is kicking off with a really big year so far. Shazam comes out next week. But as far as star rating for Scream 6, Zach, we'll start with you. 1 out of 10. What do you got?
I might be the lowest out of all of this. Not to say this is like I said, I enjoyed this movie. If you go back and listen to our Scream reviews, this is just not my franchise. But I enjoy for what these films try to be. So for this one, I'm going to give a 7. I think I gave the last one a 7 too. So it's just it's fun, but it's not a franchise that's like near and dear to my heart.
My highest rated Scream movie, I think, is the original one with a 10. Last year, I think I gave Scream 2022 an 8. I'm giving this one a 9. I thought the setup was really good. The opening was great. The kill scenes were fantastic. Like I said, I even loved the reveal. If it wasn't Stu, I'm glad it was Detective Bailey because it made sense. I just didn't like the reveal of him bringing his 2 kids along. Other than that, I thought it was a near perfect horror movie for this opening 2023 season. And yeah, you know what? In a few weeks when we talk our top 5 of 2022, I can't wait to see where Scream 5 lands on that list. So Scream 6 gets a 9 for me. Franco, what about you?
I think my highest rated is Scream, the original. I think I give it a 10 as well. I think I'm going to give it a 9.5. It was near perfect. Again, the motive I really didn't care too much for, or copying the Scream 2, I guess. But I mean, you can't be original all the time. So, 9.5.
Ed?
Gonna go ahead and give a 9. Like you all are saying, good story. Kids didn't need to. Could have been a single killer by himself. But they played out how they played out, and I think it done damn well. So I got to give it a 9, man.
I guess it is original. This is the first time there's 3 killers.
That's what I was thinking too. Because 1 or 2 is always 2 predominantly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
not
bad.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's a good film. Go check it out. Still currently in theaters. Scream 6 knocked Creed 3 out of the ring for the top spot. So go check it out. It's in theaters. Next week, we finally, I'm so excited, finally get to review and talk The Big Lebowski. It's on its actual 20th anniversary, I believe.
I think it's 25th. 25th,
Yeah,
actually.
25th anniversary. It came out. I have the release date right here. It came out March 6th, 1998. So we're a few weeks behind, but it's 25th anniversary. The Big Lebowski. We review it next week. You can currently watch The Big Lebowski on the Peacock. So if you guys want to watch along and hang out with us next week and talk The Big Lebowski, it's on Peacock. So Zach, Ed, you guys have any comments on The Big Lebowski next week?
It's been a while since I've seen it, so it'll be a fresh rewatch. So
and then to Ed, what about you?
I think this is going to be my first time.
Good. And then March 20th is The Big Lebowski next week. March 27th, we're talking Steven Spielberg's latest film, The Fabelmans, which got 0 love at the Oscars last night. And then April the 3rd, our top 5 plus 5 of 2022. And then the week after that is The Whale. April, I believe, April the 10th is what we're going to be talking about. Brendan Fraser won the Oscar last night for Best Actor. We're going to be reviewing The Whale April the 10th. which is another A24 movie. So, other than that, guys, anybody else have any final thoughts that they want to throw out there for Scream 6 before we get out of here?
Not really, no.
Franco, thanks for joining us here. I can't wait to talk to you more about Scream 6 on Wednesday on the next episode of Friday the 14th podcast. I can't wait to see who's going to join us for that. Definitely be glad to be back for that. So, nobody else has anything, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week as we talk to Big Lebowski right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.